for today.
You bet.
It's so awesome. Oh my God. I can't believe it.
There they all are.
Hello, everybody. Hello, how are you? I'm so happy that you're coming here today.
Thank you. Are these
Hello,
people?
everybody.
Are these people from all over the world, or from Poland, or from the
No,
U.S.?
they are all over the world. They will let you know where are they from.
I see Sweden and Italy right now.
Yes, these Zooms are always for everybody. These Zooms are completely free of charge. These Zooms are completely neutral. We are not talking about any company. Of course, if somebody is wanted to share something, okay, but we don't want to recruit anybody, okay? This is only for teaching network marketing as usually. We created here a great community of Own Your Life people, friends, and this is it will be always. Thank you, Jeff, for coming. I see Jeff.
Hey, thank you. Hi, Jordan. Hi, Don. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, Jordan. Hey, it doesn't get any better than this.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Great to see you, Jordan. Yes.
Yeah.
You even cannot imagine how happy I am today because I have here my three heroes in network marketing. Don Faila, the legend. I don't know, he is the best. You all know him very, very well. I will not. I don't have to introduce him as much as other people. Jordan Adler. I found something very interesting about him. As you know, Don always present him as an example of that one that really, after understanding what network marketing exactly is, after reading the book, started to be a network marketer. And right now, as I am informed, I don't know, maybe Jordan will update this information. He has a 7-figure income in network marketing, is training. He's the author of a very good book. The name of the title of that book is Beach Money, yes, and several other books you have also written with somebody else together with other people. You are a friend of Eric Worre, you are a friend of Richard Branson, second my heroes. So I am completely, out of today. And thank you very much, Jordan, for coming. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate also coming here, everybody else that I invited, especially my sponsor, Jeffrey Romualdi. And thank you very much for all the information you gave me about Jordan, this kind words. I think that Jordan is really that person that you said. I would like to ask, firstly, Jordan, about the story of his success in network marketing. Please tell us a few words. How do you understand it? How it was, how it begins? And maybe you have some good advices for people here, and maybe it will inspire them. And then we will have a little chat. Maybe you have question and answer. If Jordan would be so kind to answer, I will really appreciate. And then Don and his story of his life, okay? So the stage is yours, Jordan. Welcome here on our Zoom training.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Thanks for the invitation. It's so nice to meet you, and it's good to see my friend Don. We haven't talked a lot over the years, but he certainly has had a huge impact on my life. Jeffrey Romaldi, we've been friends for many years as well. It's just really great. It's really great to be here. So I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, and to give you an idea of what kind of neighborhood, my high school was just closed down after 70 years because of gang violence. So it was a lower middle income family that I grew up in, and I did go to college. I got a degree in landscape architecture. My dad saved his whole life to pay for me and my two sisters to go for 1 year. And then we had to figure out how to pay for the rest of it. And we were required to graduate. So that was a requirement in our family. So I got my college degree. Right out of college, I had $250 from graduation and birthday gifts, and a guitar and a suitcase. And there was a lot of building going on in Arizona. So I moved to Arizona. And at some point in Illinois, before I left, I visited a garage sale. And it's called, garage sales are called different in different countries. Some people call them garage sales. And some people call them other things, like a flea market type thing. And I picked up a book for 25 cents called the 10 Napkin Presentations by Faila. I'd never heard of network marketing. I'd never heard of residual income. I did not know what leverage was, but I read Don's book and it opened up a whole new world to me. And I got very excited about it. And back then I started looking for, after I moved to Arizona, although I had a job drafting, because at the time I was making like $15,000 a year. I started looking for different opportunities because I wanted to own my life. I wanted to get paid month after month after month for working one time. I wanted the leverage that comes from, building teams of people, all those kinds of things. And so I started signing up in different network marketing companies, one at a time, never doing more than one at the same time. But over the course of 10 years, I got involved in 11 different network marketing companies, never signed up one person and never made a penny. But the dream was still there and I kept bouncing back. And here's one of the things that I extrapolated from Don's book is that I knew if I could put in 5 hours a week and I could find one other person that could put in 5 hours a week, then I could get the benefit of 10 hours worth of work a week, but I was only putting in 5. If I could help a few other people get started and help maybe some of my team bring in some people, then I could benefit from, let's say there's 10 people in my organization that are working the business. I could then benefit from 50 hours worth of work a week, but I'm only putting in 5. And so I held on to that dream. I joined my 12th network marketing company. And in that company, over the course of 13 years, I sponsored 129 people. In 13 years, 5 of those people went on to build teams of over 85,000 and 250,000 customers. And that was on my third. I went from, after 1 year in my 12th company, I was earning $180 a month. Most people would quit long before that. And I was making 180. And then by my 40th month, I was making just about $3,000 a month. And then by my 44th month, my income just exploded. And I haven't had a job now since 1996. Been a network marketer. I don't even like the words full-time and part-time because those are job terms. They don't really exist in our business, because what if you're making $50,000 a month, but you're only putting in 15 hours a week or 10 hours a week? Is that part-time or full-time? Well, you're making what most people consider to be excessively more than full-time income, but you're only working part-time. But I've been exclusively network marketing now since 1996. I joined my first network marketing company in 1981. And one of my dreams was to this was long before beach money, long before the words beach money. One of my dreams was to spend a week a month at the beach. I was living in Arizona at the time. And there was even one point where when I moved to Arizona, I took that $250 and I bought a $200 motorcycle, and then I had $50 left and the $50 was gone. And I needed to figure out a way to pay my bills. And I started getting little jobs. And at one point I racked up $36,000 in credit card. So let me tell you where I was. 34 years old. I had $36,000 in credit card debt on 22 credit cards. I had a Jeep that was in the street that had been broken down for 2 years. I couldn't afford to fix it. My job paid me $14,000 a year when I was 34 years old. And I was living in an enclosed garage. And I had 2 roommates that were living in the house, and we each paid $200 a month. That was at the age of 34 years old. That was the time that I joined my 12th company. And in that 12th company, I went on to make $8 million with that company. And then the company went away. Don remembers the company, and some of you might. It was called Excel Communications. It had been around for 16 years, and they were $1 billion network marketing company that literally 6 months later went out of business. There was never a regulatory issue. They just went out of business because we were a technology company and one of the first technology network marketing companies, and the entire industry went digital. So we were an analog company. We had facility-based company, so that when everything went from analog to digital, anybody who had an analog-based company was out of business. There was nothing you could do. It was just because you had hundreds of employees and you had infrastructure. And so we went out of business. So I went from a $80,000 a month check to zero. And 18 years ago, I joined my 13th company. And I've been with that company now for, like I say, just about 18 years. So one of my dreams was to spend a week a month at the beach. But at the time, being 34 and living in an enclosed garage, I didn't have the money to get a hotel room. And I could drive to the beach. It would take me 5 hours from Arizona, 5.5 hours. So I would drive in the morning to the beach, spend the day at the beach, and then drive back to my little garage. And I would do that about once a month. So I got to experience what it felt like to be at the beach. And I'd look at all these people that were hanging out on a weekday and ask myself, what do these people do for a living? Like, how can they do this? And some of them are living there, some of them are on vacation, everybody's different. So then what I did is when I started making a little money in network marketing, I'd get a hotel room for one night and I'd drive there and back. And then I started flying, and then I started spending 2 nights and 3 nights and 4 nights. And over time, as I started making more and more money, I was able to spend a week a month at the beach. And so for the next probably about 10 years, I would go to the beach 1 week a month. I take a vacation every month and take a week off the month and just hang out at the beach, do a little bit of work, but not much. And then I got to the point where I was able to invest in beach homes. So eventually I owned beach homes all over the world through an investment. And for the last 12 years, I've been bringing big homes, like $3 to $5 million homes. I've been bringing friends and business partners, and my cousin had his wedding at one of our beach homes. And so it was an evolution over time. It was a transformation over time. The words, that brand that Don has is brilliant, own your life, because in those 3 words, a lot is said, So I'll share one tip and then I'll stop and see if anybody has any questions. And Harvey McKay, who wrote a book called Swim with the Sharks Without Getting Eaten Alive, it sold millions and millions of copies. He has many books. I believe he's in his 80s as well, Don. Harvey, and you probably know Harvey. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know Harvey. I would be surprised if you didn't know Harvey. Anyway, Harvey says that if you want to predict the future of someone's income, look at the size of their Rolodex. And most of you know what a Rolodex is, but a few of you are under the age of 40 and you don't know what a Rolodex is. It's one of those spools where you put business cards in, and you usually find them at the thrift stores now and the secondhand shops, and very few people use them because our Rolodex is in our phone. But Harvey said that if you want to predict the future of someone's income, just look at the size of their Rolodex. And so when I was in my 20s, even long before I ever signed up my first distributor, I got a Rolodex and I started meeting people and collecting business cards and putting them in the Rolodex. And then I did everything within my power to build a relationship with those people and stay in touch with them in a meaningful way over a long period of time. Because one thing I learned about network marketing is that most people don't sign up when you show them the business. Most people don't sign up as a customer or a distributor when you show them the business, or a consultant. Sometimes they sign up a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, 5, 6 months later. Sometimes they sign up 2 or 3 years later. But they only sign up with you if you've maintained a powerful, positive. Today are people that I've known for months or years that didn't say yes to the business in the beginning, or they weren't interested at all. And then later on, when their situation changed, they came to me and said, I'm ready to go. They know what I do, but they're not ready to sign up. It's all about timing for most people. It's just timing. It's not about your sales skills. It's not so much about your sales skills or your ability to convince them that this is a better way. It's more about them. It's more about their situation and the timing when they get that hunger in them to make a positive change. That's when they're ready to go. But you got to be the one in front of them. You have to be in their face in a positive way when they're ready to say yes. And if you're not, they're going to go with someone else. Especially in today's world with the internet, it's like whatever pops in front of onto their phone at the moment they're ready, that's what they end up doing, unless they think of you. You want them to think of you the minute they're ready for an opportunity. So I'll stop there. I could talk forever and just open it up and turn it back over to you, Adriana.
Thank you very much. So the number one recommendation for other people is to stay consistent or make focus.
I think
or focus.
consistency is important, but also focus more on the relationship than on the sale. No, that's an important thing. And then the second one would be never quit on a bad day. You're gonna have bad days, lots of bad days, days where you wake up and you don't feel like building a business, days when something happened in your business that's really knocks the wind out of you. That's when most people quit. Most people quit 3 feet from gold. And if I had quit my 12th company and I had 3 major reasons to quit my 12th company before I ever even got a check, if I had quit, I wouldn't have gone on to make millions of dollars. It's finding the right person at the right time, the person that joins your organization, and look for people that are hungry in your group. Like, so as you're building a team, let's say you have 20 people on your team, you're not going to have 20 people that want to build a business. They say they want to build a business, but they're not willing to do the work. You want to look for 3 things. You want to look for people that call or text you in your group. They're calling and texting you. You want to look for people that show up, meaning they're on the Zooms, they're showing up, they're registering themselves for the convention. They're doing it on their own. You don't have to beg them or bribe them or coerce them. They just do it. And the third is they do something. They're actually out doing the business. So those are the 3 things you want to look at, even when they're brand new. If they're not doing those 3 things, then you want to go find somebody who is, who's ready to do those things. They call and text you like with questions, or they have people they want to put in front of you. They're showing up, meaning they're booking themselves, they're showing up on the weekly trainings and things. And then the last thing is they're actually doing something. They're not just sitting around, they're actually doing something with the business. The truth is you will never be able to spin enough plates to make money in this business. So you have to find people that want this as much or more than you do.
What is your biggest dream right now?
Good question. You know, I am on right now. I'm an investor as well, because I take my network marketing money and I invest. And I want to build some retreats on some land in the mountains. So I'm working on that. That's a big passion for me right now. It's a new passion, but I'm enjoying it. I have 44 acres in Asheville, North Carolina, near Asheville. And I just bought a little cabin with 8 more acres in near there. It has a nationally registered waterfall on it. It's absolutely breathtaking, with a stream that goes right through the middle of it. And the cabin is right on the stream. And so I'm just doing stuff around that. I don't have, like, I love my life. I live my life day by day. I enjoy every moment, just like many of you. And I'm just always looking to create those magic moments. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Yeah.
So the learning from your history is just don't stop dreaming.
Never quit on a bad day.
Never.
So
quit.
when you're having a bad day, what you want to do is when you're having a bad day, what you want to do is you want to do a little bit of work that day, even though you're not feeling it. And then if you have another bad day, then do a little bit of work. See, if you keep working, you're going to have a good day and you won't want to quit. And it's hard because you're not feeling it. It's hard. You know, you wake up or you've got lots of other things you're going to have to make your business. It can be fun. It doesn't have to be grueling work. It can be really fun and it can light you up. And at the same time, you're going to have days where you're just not feeling it. That's normal. That's human. But your dreams will only manifest if you stay focused on them and continue to do the work.
This Zoom is the example of that completely. I have focused on that to invite you here. That's come true.
Yeah. So are there any questions from the group?
Yes, please unmute yourself. If you have any question, please ask Jordan directly, okay?
I'd love to hear from you. Ron Joseph, that looks like, I can't really tell where that is, but that kind of looks like the land in Asheville, near Asheville. It's not, I'm sure, but it looks like it. By the way, Monica has lily pads up. Have you guys talked about lily pads before, Don?
No.
No? So let me ask a question. A lily pad doubles every day for 30 days. A lily pad doubles every day for 30 days. If you're taking notes, write this on your notepad. The answer, don't blurt it out, just write it on your notepad or put it in the comments. You could try putting it in the comments. How about that? So a lily pad doubles every day, and you plant one lily pad in a pond, and it doubles every day. On the 29th day, or no, on the 30th day, the pond is 100% full of lily pads. On the 30th day, the pond is 100% full of lily pads. Lily pads double every day. You plant a lily pad on the first day, one. On the 30th day, the pond is 100% full. How full is the pond on the 29th day? Put that in the comments. How full is the pond with lily pads on the 29th day? Put that in the comments. I'd like to see.
One half.
What do you think?
Half.
Half? Good. They taught you, they trained you well. Don trained you well. Yeah, so if you think about it, look at my hands. 29th day, the pond is half full. 30th day, the pond is full because the lily pads double every day. If you talk to somebody who doesn't understand network marketing, they'll tell you, oh, it's 90% full or 85% full or whatever. Yeah. Hey, Kenny, what's going on? I see you were in Excel. Wow. Yeah, those last 3 years were tough, man. They were tough.
Hey, Jordan, it's Jeff.
Jeff, what's going on? Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. You know, in all my years in network marketing, going back to 1994, I don't think I ever saw anybody as consistent as you, as far as doing the things that you need to be doing on a regular basis. Yeah. I don't think most people really understand that kind of consistency. You know, we use the words a lot, persistency and consistency, but you were like the quintessential like definition of consistency. I was wondering if you could kind of tell the group, you know, what that really means, like the long term, what you've been doing with your calls and just how you and again, you already mentioned about, you know, you don't always feel like doing it, but you always do it. And that is like my big, there's so many things about you I could say, but if there was one thing, that's the take home message right there. And being,
yeah, it didn't matter. Like if I had a weekly training, I've been doing weekly trainings now 18 years with this company and 13 years with my other company. And I only missed about 4 weeks between the two companies. But even when I didn't have a company in between the two companies, I was doing my weekly calls, my weekly trainings. And when you come up with the training, you know, you borrow ideas from other people, you come up with your own ideas, you help people look for ways to offer value. And so every week I would do back then it was conference calls. And then of course, today it's Zooms. It didn't matter whether there was 5 people on there, 2 people on there, 100 people on there, 1,000 people on there, I would do it. And there were lots of days that I didn't have a topic. Like I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know but I'd have to come up with something which helps you grow. When you teach other people, you grow. And so you grow exponentially when you're teaching other people. So that's been part of my consistency. The other thing is my calendar. And today, all my calendars are online, but before that, they were offline. My lists and my calendars, I'm constantly adding new people to the list. And if I notice my calendar is not full, like when I say full, that's really dependent on how full I want it to be. Your calendar is going to be as full as you want it to be. So you might say, I'm going to work an hour a day, or I'm going to work 4 hours a day, or I'm on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm going to work 2 hours. And on Thursday and Friday, I'm going to work 3 hours. And on the weekends, I'm going to take off. Whatever it is, you want to make sure your calendar is full. And if it's not, that's when you have to shift your attention and focus on getting some people to put on your calendar. Because I can predict the future of someone's income, not just by looking at their Rolodex, but by also looking at their calendar. If your calendar is full and you're meeting with people to, it's all energy. It's like you're excited about your business. That energy is inside you. You got to get that energy out into the world. And the more people you have on your team that are excited about it, the more leverage you have. That just expands the energy out further, right? Every time you use your product, there's an energy with that. Every time you tell somebody about your product or service, there's an energy about that. And so it's getting the energy out into the world. And the more people that you impact with that energy, the more your business will grow, the more people you're going to help, and the bigger your checks are going to be.
Thank you.
There-
Thank you.
There is question, if you don't have a large Rolodex, who do you fix that?
Great question. So I would start off by, first of all, I would get with the people that are in your business that have a large Rolodex and ask them what they did. All right. You might consider going on ChatGPT and saying, I have a very small network and I want to have a big network. What are 10 ways I can build a bigger network? And ChatGPT in about 2 minutes will give you, in about a minute, will give you 10 great ideas for expanding your network. That's another thing you could do. The whole idea is to come up with resourceful ideas that will allow you to connect with more people. So it might be getting into some groups on Facebook that you're interested in and start commenting. You're interested in it, so it's going to be easy for you to do. Find some groups of people. There's thousands and thousands of groups, and just start commenting on things and start building relationships with people in those groups. And then I still like offline networking. Business Network International, BNI, it's been phenomenal. You know, it teaches you networking skills. It introduces you to a whole bunch of new people. And you know, you get to practice your networking and learn about how to network effectively. But you want to put yourself in situations, either online or offline, where you're constantly connecting with new people. And always ask the question. This should be a question that you put on your bathroom mirror and on the dash of your car. Who's next? Question mark. Who's next? Always be asking that question. Who's next?
Who's next? What was your greatest learning in your 11 years where you did not have a partner and you could not have a residual income? And what made everyone change in your company number 12?
Well, I pretty much covered that, and that has to do with what I was choosing to focus on. So I stopped quitting. I realized in my 12th company that quitting is not a good plan for success. It doesn't work. In any business, whether it's network marketing or any other business, it's about solving problems, not about quitting. It's about figuring it out rather than throwing in the towel. Figuring it out rather than throwing in the towel. So I'm in an old ghost town, mining town in Arizona called Jerome. It's probably the most famous ghost town in the United States. I've had a home here for 23 years. I'm on the 3rd story of the home, and it's not a huge home, but it's 4 stories, and it's on the side of a mountain about 1/8 of a mile on Main Street into town. And there's right in front of me here, there's a screen door. The door is open, and there's a deck on the 3rd level that looks out over Sedona, and the hummingbirds all hang out here. Well, one day I was getting ready to leave, and I was going to be heading on a trip that was going to take me out of town for a few weeks. And a hummingbird flew in. The screen door had been left open, and the hummingbird flew in, and it flew to this picture window behind me. The blinds weren't down, but it flew to this picture window, and it was trying to get out. And hummingbirds are very fast, as you know. And I was trying to get the hummingbird to go to the door that was open, which is just a few feet away, but I couldn't get the hummingbird to see the door. He was wanting to go through the window. He was focused in that direction, and I couldn't catch him. And I was getting really frustrated, and he was getting frustrated, and I couldn't divert his attention towards the door. And I knew that if I left, he would be dead on the windowsill when I got back. And so I went in the kitchen, got a pitcher. It took me 2 hours to get that hummingbird tired enough that I could get him out of the house. And then he flew off. But here's the thing, that focus would have resulted in struggle, extreme struggle, and death. It would have ultimately led to death. The other direction is effortless and allows you to fly to freedom. And so when you listen to Don, you're going to learn the path to freedom that's effortless. If you're able to focus the way he focuses and the way I focus and other top network marketing leaders, if you can learn to shift your focus onto the things that make the business truthfully easy. If you can focus on those things, see that little hummingbird, he didn't need to learn to fly better. It wasn't about skills. That hummingbird knew how to fly. He was just focused in the wrong direction, and that focus resulted in struggle and possible death, probable death. So one direction leads to struggle and death. The other direction is effortless and leads to freedom.
So let's open the door for freedom. Kenny said, tell Jordan I said hi, and I was in extra communication the last 3 years before they went chapter 11, and I meet him before. Nice.
Kenny, so we had met. Oh, okay, cool. Where are you? I'm looking for you on the screen.
Kenny, wave, please.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have his.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Kenny, what's going on? Nice to see you. All right.
Okay. Anyone else who would like to ask? Oh, here it is. Thank you for sharing with us today your story and amazing success. What organizational system do you use right now to follow up with your prospects, to build relationship with the people in the digital age? As we know, the fortune is in the follow-up.
I have to be a little careful with that because it has to do with our service. So Don, I don't know if I can talk about that too much, but that's the system I use. It's like it's what I represent.
Gotta
So-
stay neutral.
Yeah. So, however, I do want to say this. I am not a real organized person at all. I'm not super systematic. That's just it's something that I struggle with all my life. I more act on just intuition, like who do I need to follow up with, who do I need to talk to, who do I need to meet with, and I just look at my calendar. So I don't have a real good system. In fact, just to give you an idea, I never in my life have ever balanced a checkbook. I learned how to do it in high school, and then I never did it in my whole life. I figured I need to make more money than I have bills going out. And that's what I focused on. Now, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying I've never done it, but I do have bookkeepers now. For the past 25 years, I've had a bookkeeper that does all that for me. But in fact, I was on with her this morning, just talking to her, how much do I have in my accounts? And, you know, how much do I have going out? And we were just talking about different things. But that's a regular conversation because they do that work for me. In fact, one of the things you want to do is look for things that you don't like to do or that you're not good at and get other people to do them for you. And if you don't have the money to do it right now, do a little of it. Like you don't have the money to hire a housekeeper and you hate housework, then get a housekeeper once a month. You can afford that. Just to do a deep cleaning once a month. If you don't know how to, if you don't like doing your taxes and you're trying to do your own taxes, get an account, pay an accountant $200 to do your taxes. It's worth it. It'll free you up. So, yeah. So I'm not an organized person. I don't have strong systems for that. Although I do keep a lot of lists and I do use my calendar a lot where I'm looking back at my calendar. I haven't heard. Oh, one thing I do is I do keep notes on people. Like I do have, like if I meet with somebody on my computer, I've got notes on there. So I can go, because a lot of times I don't remember who they are because it's been so long. So I can go back in the notes and I can see, you know, what we talked about and a little bit about their background. So I'm not going in blind. And to this day, I still meet, today I have 4 appointments. I probably work an average over the course of the week, 2 hours a day. But during those 2 hours, I'm very, very productive and I'm meeting with people. So I meet with people every day. I sign people up every week, new people, new distributors and new customers every single week.
Okay. Next question. So do you follow Don's system when you are looking for good people or have you modified it?
I think you should follow Don's system. I read Don's book probably 5 times in my life. And from a philosophy standpoint, I'm sure I do follow his system, but not systematically. It's more of just like the way I live my life, you know, just the whole ideas of leverage and residual income. And, you know, I drive depth in my group the way that Don teaches. First gear, second gear, third gear. Does he still talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
Good. Ruja wrote, I want to build business with Russian speakers. What Zoom I can invite them, and does your business work in Russia? These Zooms? These Zooms or what Zooms? Because I don't know exactly.
I'm not sure I understand the question. I want to build a business with Russian speakers. Just think of it in terms, I don't know specifically about that. It doesn't matter what country you're talking about. It could be any country. It doesn't matter where you live. We live in a virtual world today. And just think about creating exposure in today's world, in today's social media world. It really is a lot about exposure. It's about creating a bigger footprint, and then also looking for the right people, sorting through people to find the right people. But the only way you can do that is you got to get your brand and your message out. And it's not about blasting it out so much as it is building relationships with the right people so that they give you a megaphone. So like, for example, I'll just give you a perfect example. I'm going on a cruise, a podcaster's cruise. I'm not a podcaster, but I'm going on a podcaster's cruise. Can anybody tell me why? Why would I go on a podcaster's cruise for a week with people that I don't know that are podcasters when I'm not a podcaster? Anybody?
They'll invite you to be on their show.
Exactly. I'm going to build relationships. I'm going to go to lunch with them. I'm going to be doing the excursions with them. I'm going to be hanging out with them at the pool, and I'm going to build relationships. And I'm not even going to have to ask them to be on the podcast. At some point, some of them are going to say, would you be on my podcast?
Right.
Then I can talk about, in a lot of the cases, in my situation, in a lot of cases, the podcasters will allow me to talk about my service. They will allow me to do that. And in some cases, I will sign the podcasters up as a distributor or an affiliate for me. And then I will be speaking on their behalf. So I look for opportunity. I put myself in situations like that, look for opportunities to have a bigger megaphone by building relationships with the people that have a community. You can do that through social media. You can do that in Facebook groups. You can do it by going on retreats. Here's another one I did, joint ventures. I'd never done a joint venture in my life. I know what it is, but I'd never done one. But I found some people that do joint venture retreats. And I went on a joint venture retreat in Cabo. Well, now I've got an audience of 40 people that all want to hear what I'm up to, that I could possibly joint venture with. And I sign them up as affiliates with us, and then I work with them to help them grow their business.
Okay, next question. After what period of time did you find your gold ship? And how many gold ships do you have in your organization right now?
Yeah, so I have about 600,000 affiliates that have signed up in my business since I started 18 years ago. And personally, and this is a little bit outside of outside of Don's system, a little bit outside of it, but I average, just by referrals, I average about 3 to 4 new affiliates personally per month. And so I personally signed up about 600 personals. And, I just look for the ones that are super hungry, that are reaching out and saying, let's do this. I really want to do this. And then I help drive depth in their organizations. But when I look at the 600, I probably got 90% of my business comes from 8 of them, 8 of the 600. So I guess those would be considered my gold chips. So think about it this way. And I don't know if any of you are, I'm not a sailor. I was a hang glider pilot. I used to run off mountains for 8 years, but I don't do that anymore. But I've been on a lot of sailboats, and I was on a little sailboat in the British Virgin Islands with about 10 people. And my captain and his wife lived on the boat in the Virgin Islands. And I asked them, how often do you sail? And they said, well, we sail every day, as long as the weather's cooperating. I said, I said, how long have you been sailing? They said, 28 years. I said, when was the last time you talked to your instructor? And they said, oh, 25 years ago? I said, you mean to tell me you sail every single day, but you only talked to your instructor last time was 25 years ago? I said, yeah. And it dawned on me that you can never have freedom if you tether yourself to the boats of the people that you bring into the business, and they'll never have freedom either. So your job is to help them get started, to get them plugged in, to teach them what they need to be successful, which can be done fairly quickly. And then your job is to set them out to sail. And some of those people will only sail for a few months. Some of them will never sail. Some of them will sail for a few weeks, some is a few months. They get trained and they'll take their sailboat out and they'll sail for 8 months, and then they'll meet somebody that doesn't want them to sail anymore. And then they'll quit. And then some people will buy a sailboat. They'll sell every week, and then the weather will get bad, and then they'll put the sailboat away, and they'll never pull the sailboat back out. Some people will hit a reef and sink their boat and never fix it. Some people will sail once a month for the rest of their lives. Some people sail every day. My job is to find the people that want to sail, and then I'm going to onboard them, teach them how to sail, then set them out to sail, and then it's up to them ultimately. You can never, ever, like I said before, you can never spin enough plates to make money in this business. Your job is to get people started and then set them off to sail. Don't tether yourself to your people's boats, because if you do, you'll never have freedom, and neither will they.
What do you think? Can anybody do network marketing, or there should be some kind of people in given characteristics that would be suitable for that kind of business?
I don't think there's a characteristic. I think every type of person can do it, but not every type of business person will do it. Not every type of person will do it. It really has more to do with how resourceful, how hungry, and how committed they are to their dreams. And that's the only thing, not what their background is, whether they're analytical, whether they're a visionary, whether they're a hard worker or they're not a hard worker. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is their dreams, their commitment to seeing the job through, their resourcefulness, qualities of an entrepreneur, their willingness to solve the problems versus just giving up when things get tough, all those kinds of things. That can be anybody.
Thank you very much for the questions and answers. I hope that maybe Timothy, do you want to tell something, or somebody else? Please unmute yourself, and then we will turn to Don and his story of his life.
And thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Don.
Thank
you,
you
Jeff.
very much.
And all of you. Thanks for
I
listening.
appreciate it so much. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you, Jordan.
Don, what do you think about Jordan? Because you always present him as an example of very good man that really understood your system.
By the way, Don, there is not a single talk that I ever do where your name doesn't come up.
Same with me with you.
That's awesome.
Friends forever.